Is your computer ancient? Is it slowing down your fast pace of life? Well, it shouldn't. It's time to get rid of that old piece of junk and build yourself a new top-of-the-line computer. Hello, my name is Derek Austin, and I am here to help you deal with an epidemic that is plaguing our country. There are just too many people out there with old, slow computers who need to make a change. Many resort to purchasing overpriced machines from Dell, HP, or Apple. Sure, it gets the job done, but that's not the best way to take care of your problem. Today on Tech Zone, we're going to lead you through a step-by-step process on how to go about building your own computer. This is something that sounds intimidating to many, but after our simple instructions, you'll have a new machine up and running in no time. So stick around.
Hi, welcome to the Tech Zone. My name is Will, and today we're going to be talking about building computers and how to do it. First off, we're going to talk about whether it's better to build one yourself or buy one that's pre-made. There's a couple differences. First of all, the pre-made computers use mass quantity parts, therefore you're not getting usually the best parts for your money. Second of all, you're losing a lot of markup price for the company that's building the computer for you, as well as the fun of building your own computer. All right, so now we're looking at the actual components of the computer. The main component of the entire computer is the case, obviously. What we have here is a Media Center PC case. It's just a standard size computer case. It has enough fans to keep everything cool and everything from there, enough drive bays for the hard storage and all the CD drives you'd look for. Next piece is the power supply. Power supply in here is a 550 watt power supply. It's enough to power any of the video cards, anything you're looking for. The next piece that goes in the computer is obviously the motherboard. This is the little motherboard for this one because it's a Media Center PC. It's a little bit smaller than normal. They're usually about that long or so. We're talking about a Media Center PC versus a gaming computer or something like that. That's a normal size computer. And what that means essentially is that it's an integrated solution for a computer. It actually comes with onboard video and sound. Later we're going to go past that with some other video options, but the main part of this is the CPU. Media Center PCs, or mainly a lot of small business class PCs, use lower powered CPUs. This one, for example, is an i5, which is a Core i5 from Intel. It uses a little bit less power than some of the mainstream processors for video game machines, but it's also very quiet. You see that it has a very small fan on here. It's a standard stock fan from Intel. It doesn't use a lot of power and it's very quiet. So if you're trying to listen to music, watch a video, something like that, you're not going to hear the actual processor fan. This board also has 4 slots for RAM, which is about the standard, most of them now. Some of the higher end gaming computers use 6 slots for triple channel RAM. This uses dual channel. It also only has 1 graphics card slot. A lot of computers now are using 2 for an enhanced graphics quality. The next piece is the RAM. Little tiny 6 RAM, but they're 2 gigs apiece, making it 8 gigabytes total for the entire computer. The video card. The video card has 3 different outs on it, a DVI, a VGA, and an HDMI, as well as a pretty nice little fan here. Storage, we have a hard drive. We're using a Western Digital 2 terabyte green drive. There's 2 of them in here, so for 4 terabytes total for storage for the Media Center. And lastly, one of the most important parts is our optical drive. It's a 24x DVD-ROM write/burn. So it's a very quick DVD-ROM drive. Next, we're going to go ahead and start putting the components in, and we'll see where it goes from there. All right, so first up, what you want to do is to organize all your parts and screws. The next part, you're going to open up your case, install your motherboard, make sure you're using your risers, your pads, and your screws in the correct places. Next piece is the processor. On this board, we already had the processor installed, so we didn't have to deal with that, but do make sure you try and line up your pins, strap it down correctly, use the correct thermal paste, and get your heatsink all screwed down.
Well, both are used in tandem to keep the processor from getting too hot. If the processor gets too hot, it could destroy itself. The main job of the heatsink is to pull that heat from the processor using a combination of its metal alloy and heat pipes. It then pushes the heat out of the computer using the large fan on top of the heatsink. The purpose of the thermal paste is to bond the processor and the heatsink so that the rate of the heat transfer is as high as possible.
Next piece is the RAM. We're going to get it all lined up correctly, put in the correct slots. This depends on the amount of memory you have and what type of motherboard you have, how many slots you have, and which slots you want to use. Next step is to install the power supply, and this one we already have the power supply pre-installed, but do try and keep all your cords out of the way so you can have room to work inside the computer. For the video card, we're going to install it in the correct PCI Express slot and then connect the power to it. For the optical drive, we're going to get it connected properly again with SATA connection on this motherboard, or you can use your old style IDE depending on how old your optical drive is. Next step is the hard drive. We're going to connect all the proper connections being SATA on this board, and then we're going to screw them into the drive bays. Don't forget to hook everything else up to the power end of the motherboard and get all your correct pins and adapters set for your power supply. And then last but not least is jumpers, and plug in your external things. Get your USB plugged in for your front and your audio power, etc. for your front panel.
Jumpers are small wires that connect your motherboard to case ancillaries like USB, lights, and the power button. These wires plug into small pieces of metal which stick up on the motherboard. Instructions to the proper slots to plug in your jumpers can be found in your motherboard manual.
And that's how you finish putting a computer together. Get the case all put back together. And of course, once you get it all done, you got to get over here and plug in some extra stuff. You got to get your keyboard and mouse, other peripherals all ready to go. And once you get it all started up, you get your operating system installed. There's a couple different versions you can use. There's Windows 7, Vista, XP. You can go with Linux. There's the Mac OS. It's a little difficult to put it on PCs at this point. There's just a lot of options you can use. Most students are using Windows 7 right now, which is my preference, especially for media or gaming. All right, now that we're done putting the computer together, we've talked about the operating system, all the peripherals. Let's talk about a couple places to actually get the components that you've seen today. First off, there's always online. You can do Newegg, Fry's, Tiger Direct, any of that kind of stuff. There's always local places such as VGH in Moscow, Office Depot. They have some pieces like that. It's just getting all the pieces together is the first step, and then you can actually get your computer put together like we did today. Thanks for joining us today on Tech Zone. Have fun building your computer, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Now, didn't that look easy? Now it's your turn. End the epidemic that plagues your house with slow information processing and build a new computer. Thanks for joining us today on the Tech Zone. Make sure to tune in next week when we talk about how you should get rid of that brick of a phone you carry around and invest in a new age cell phone. Until next time, I'm Derek Austin.